Numerous fortunate individuals have stumbled upon invaluable treasures, some worth millions of dollars. This particular story revolves around a textile that on a good day is valued at $500,000. It's astonishing to find such treasures in unexpected places where they are least anticipated. Usually these items are relentlessly pursued by individuals driven by monetary motives, such as archaeologists and explorers. As a child, you dream of discovering buried treasure, and in this extraordinary case, that dream became a reality, an unbelievable occurrence. Join us as we delve into the fortunes and treasures unearthed in abandoned locations. A blanket of fortunes. In California, a man named Lauren Kritzer experienced a stroke of luck when he discovered a family heirloom that surpassed all his expectations. Lauren, living on disability checks for a mere $200 due to a car accident that resulted in the loss of his leg, stumbled upon a blanket at an antiques roadshow. Little did he know that the blanket held a value of $500,000. It was at that moment that he realized he had a similar blanket stored in his closet. This Navajo blanket from the 1800s had served as a makeshift bed for newborn kittens. Lauren retrieved the blanket and shared his plan with his mother to capitalize on its worth. No one could have imagined that such a seemingly insignificant-looking blanket could fetch such an enormous fortune. His mother initially believed no one would even pay $10 for it. To everyone's surprise, he sold the blanket in California 6 months later for a staggering $1.5 million. Congratulations, sir. This auction provided him with a new lease on life. He wisely invested a portion of the money in stocks and bonds, bought a car and 2 homes, ensuring financial security for the foreseeable future. Rare coins and precious rings. Alex Archbold, an antique shop owner in Canada, made an astonishing discovery when he acquired the contents of a deceased piano teacher's home for a mere $10,000. Initially invited to inspect a static 1964 Cadillac in the garage, Alex neglected to examine the house before making the purchase. Little did he know what awaited him inside. The house turned out to be a treasure trove beyond his wildest imagination. Among the findings were vintage gold and diamond rings, designer clothing from prestigious brands like Chanel and Burberry, silver dollars and 1920s currency, as well as a 100-ounce silver bar. Alex meticulously documented these treasures and estimated their combined value to be around $400,000. He later admitted that this investment proved to be his most profitable endeavor. As part of his YouTube channel, he regularly purchases contents from old homes, fascinated by the discoveries they hold. Prior to acquiring this particular house, he'd been informed that the piano teacher had a modest income. Little did he know that she was in fact a millionaire who preferred a modest lifestyle. Ancient Mayan artifacts. Nick DeMola, a New York junk removal specialist, stumbled upon an unexpected treasure while clearing out a Soho apartment and studio. The apartment had previously belonged to an abstract artist named Clinton Hill. After Hill's partner passed away, DeMola's company was hired to clean out the apartment. Among the items, DeMola discovered an old trash barrel that was nearly discarded. However, he decided to keep it and brought it to his warehouse, where it sat for around 5 years. Curiosity eventually got the better of him and he decided to research the contents of the barrel. To his surprise, he found ancient clay statues and artifacts dating back nearly 2,000 years, some with Mayan origins from Mexico. DeMola took a few pieces to an ancient art appraiser and dealer who authenticated their value. The items were estimated to be worth around $16,500 in total, including a $1,000 stone axe believed to have been used for sacrifices. Initially, the pottery didn't catch DeMola's attention, and he contemplated returning them to the barrel. However, he later decided to sell them or potentially donate them to a museum where they could be appreciated by others. A restored 1956 Ford Thunderbird. Vintage cars, particularly classic models like the 1956 Ford Thunderbird, hold substantial value, making them rare finds. An anonymous family in Michigan uncovered a secret car collection that had remained untouched for approximately 30 years. To their surprise, the collection contained 28 Thunderbirds, one of which was valued at over $27,000. In 2016, the family auctioned off the cars for a remarkable sum of $300,000. Auctioneers met with the family at an off-site restaurant and were led to the property housing the vehicles. The collection featured a wide array of vintage cars, including a rare 1932 Ford Model B and a 1987 Chevy Silverado truck, collectively selling for over $37,000. Scott Medimer, the CEO of RepoCast.com, described the sight of the cars as reminiscent of reality television shows like American Pickers or Hoarders due to their rarity. The 1956 Ford Thunderbird, which had undergone restorations after a crash, sold for over $5,000. Its previous owner might have been a Hollywood celebrity. Now the car is back on the road, restored to its former glory. Are you a vintage car enthusiast? Feel free to share your favorite model in the comments below. Artworks worth millions. Connecticut-based abstract expressionist artist Francis Hines left behind an extensive collection of artwork when he passed away in 2016. The collection, housed in his former studio barn, was discovered a year later by a Connecticut mechanic named Jared Whipple. Initially considering the artworks to be nothing more than Halloween decorations, Whipple unknowingly stumbled upon treasures worth millions of dollars. While sifting through the collection, he came across a 1961 canvas bearing Francis Matson Hines' full name. Intrigued, Whipple conducted extensive research on the artist's life and reached out to Hines' family, who granted him permission to keep the artwork. The collection, wrapped in 8,000 yards of synthetic fabric, caught the attention of art dealer Muldoon Elgar, a retired dealer from San Francisco. Elgar introduced Whipple to other artists and art historian Peter Hastings Falk. Each painting from the collection was estimated to be worth between $12,000 to $20,000, with drawings fetching around $4,500 each. In total, the collection amounted to millions of dollars. Whipple's aim was to etch Hines' name into the annals of art history. Comic collection in the basement. While cleaning out his late great-aunt's home in Virginia, Rohr stumbled upon a hidden treasure in the basement, a collection of 345 comics that belonged to his late Uncle Billy. Surprisingly, Uncle Billy had never mentioned this collection before his passing in 1994 at the age of 66. The comics were neatly stacked in the basement closet, including rare issues like Detective Comics number 27 and Captain America number 2. Among the collection were also 44 issues of the Overstreet comic book price guides listing the top 100 issues from the golden age of comic books, spanning the late 1930s to the late 1940s. After researching the collection's value, Rohr discovered that his great-uncle had amassed a staggering array of some of the most valuable comic books ever published. In 2012, the rare magazines were auctioned for an astounding $3.5 million in New York. For example, Detective Comics number 27, featuring the debut of Batman, sold for $523,000, while Action Comics number 1, which introduced Superman, sold for $299,000. These remarkable finds were all stored in a closet in the basement. The Schroeder treasure. In 1988, during a renovation project on an abandoned telephone exchange in the Polish town of Schroeder, a construction worker made an unexpected discovery. He uncovered a metal object that turned out to be a treasure trove of gold, silver coins, and precious jewels from the 14th century. The estimated worth of the treasure was a staggering $6.9 million. The collection included over 4,000 gold coins minted in Prague and other places, as well as a golden crown. As news of the find spread, people scrambled to collect the scattered coins. However, the government intervened to protect the treasure, leading to a house-to-house search and the discovery of dozens of coins. The treasure was traced back to Emperor Charles IV of the House of Luxembourg, who had pawned various items to a Jewish banker in Schroeder. Unfortunately, a plague struck and the banker disappeared, leaving the treasure hidden for centuries. To this day, no one has claimed the treasure. Bronze Age sword. In 1965, a farmer in Northern Ireland discovered a rusty sword while fishing on the banks of a river. Initially considering it worthless, he stored it in his toolbox in an old shed on his farm for over 50 years. In 2017, as the farmer and his brother researched the disputed location of the Battle of the Ford of the Biscuits at the Arny River in 1594, they remembered the old sword. They retrieved the artifact and had it appraised, only then realizing its true value. The sword turned out to be a priceless 2,600-year-old Bronze Age artifact dating back to 600 to 800 BC. Such items from the Bronze Age are rare, usually turning up approximately every 25 years. The broken sword, believed to have belonged to a warrior, was deliberately thrown into the river. It was eventually taken to a local museum for public enjoyment. rare 1930s penny. While cleaning a hoarder's home, a woman from a cleaning company discovered a rare Australian coin from the 1930s under a carpet. Alongside newspapers from the same era, the rusty old penny caught her attention. After researching its value, she realized it could be worth around $40,000. Similar 1930s pennies had been sold at auctions for over $59,000 in 2022 and $1.15 million in 2019. The coin's rarity stemmed from the fact that only about 1,500 units were placed into circulation during the Great Depression. Featuring the head of King George V, the copper penny had the lowest mintage among all pre-decimal Australian coins. The woman made sure to return the coin to the homeowner, emphasizing that it was their property and not for her to keep. Unopened copy of a classic video game. When Scott Amos from California decided to clean out his childhood home's attic in 2019, he had no idea it would lead to a life-changing discovery. Among the boxes of his childhood items, he found an unopened copy of the 1987 classic video game Kid Icarus. The game was still inside a JCPenney shopping bag from 3 decades earlier, with a receipt dated December 8, 1988. It was a remarkable find considering the game's rarity. Scott initially believed it would sell for a couple of $100s, but it far exceeded his expectations. Eventually, the unopened game was sold for $9,000 in an online auction by Heritage Auctions. With only a few sealed copies known to exist, Scott's find was truly extraordinary. Abandoned warehouse sports cards. During an urban exploration of an abandoned warehouse in Detroit in 2015, a team of explorers stumbled upon an unexpected treasure. Millions of old Topps sports cards from the 1980s and 90s. Dust-covered crates and scattered cards littered the floor. Among the cards were valuable gems worth up to $100,000 each, making the combined value of the collection estimated at $1 million. It was speculated that the cards belonged to the building's owners or another company that had stored them there under contract. Surprisingly, the warehouse had no doors or windows, indicating it had been abandoned for decades. The discovery amazed the explorers and provided a glimpse into a forgotten era of sports card collecting. The Sir John Gordon bust of Edme Bouchardon. In 1998, councillor Maxine Smith made an incredible discovery on an industrial site in Scotland. While searching for old provost's robes and chains, she stumbled upon an 18th century marble bust of Highland Laird and MP Sir John Gordon. The valuable artwork, created in 1728 by French artist Edme Bouchardon, had been used as a doorstop. Mrs. Smith alerted the council about the potential value of the bust, which was later appraised at $1.9 million. The bust, once overlooked and serving a menial function, became a treasured piece displayed alongside other renowned works of art. Its rediscovery added prestige to the Inverness Museum and Art Gallery. Giovanni Baldini's portrait of Martha de Florian. For over 70 years, the Parisian apartment of Martha de Florian remained untouched and abandoned. In 2010, a team of experts was sent to investigate the property and made an astonishing discovery. Amidst the luxurious furnishings and dust-covered surroundings, they found a stunning 1898 portrait of Martha de Florian in a pink muslin evening dress. The portrait was painted by Italian artist Giovanni Baldini, who was revealed to be Martha's lover through a stack of ribbon-bound love letters found in the apartment. Initially valued at over $400,000, the painting exceeded expectations and sold for a staggering $2.9 million in 2014. The remarkable find unveiled a forgotten love story and solidified the painting's status as a fine art masterpiece. Buried treasure safe. During the planting of trees in their backyard, Matthew and Maria Kalana Emanuel from Staten Island stumbled upon a rusted and rotting safe, initially mistaken for an electrical box. To their astonishment, the box contained a buried treasure worth approximately $52,000, including bundles of $100 bills, jewelry, diamonds, gold, and jade. The couple decided to trace the safe's owner, and by following an address written on a note inside, they discovered it belonged to one of their neighbors. The safe had been stolen during a burglary at their neighbor's home in 2011. Instead of keeping the treasure, Matthew and Maria returned it to its rightful owner, despite the thief never being caught. The safe's contents became a remarkable discovery due to the circumstances in which they were found. Ruffino Tamayo's Tres Personajes. Elizabeth Gibson, a New Yorker with little knowledge of modern art, stumbled upon a masterpiece by Mexican artist Ruffino in 2003. As she took her morning walk on Manhattan's Upper West Side, she noticed the brightly colored abstract painting amidst trash bags waiting for collection. Though she didn't fully understand its significance, she recognized its power. After 4 years of researching its worth, she discovered that the artwork had been featured on the Antiques Roadshow and was declared missing since 1989. The painting, titled Tres Personajes and created in 1970, had been purchased for $55,000 in 1977, but was later stolen from a storage unit. Upon its discovery, it sold for over $1 million at Sotheby's Latin American art sale. Elizabeth received a $15,000 reward and a percentage of the artwork's selling price. A remarkable find saved the painting from being lost forever. These stories of hidden treasures have captivated our imaginations, reminding us that there may still be countless untold stories waiting to be discovered.